I'm Layla. Welcome to Raid Lore Stories. Today we're going to be reading the lore story for Warlord live on Twitch as my Twitch chat has voted, so I hope you enjoy this. Long before there was the Warlord, there was a small, sickly orc child who brought shame to his clan. Having suffered through generations of ostracization and persecution, first from the Dragonkin Empire and then by the Sacred Order, most orcs now live at the fringe of society. As a result, an ideal many orcs hold is that their shoulders must be broad and their backs must be resolute, for the weight of generations past is great, and the tests they might face in life will be greater still. No such substance existed in the limp limbs and brittle bones of this particular orc child, and so he was forbidden from training in the ways of combat as others in his clan did. Denied the opportunity to hone his body and blade, the child instead focused on sharpening his mind, studying the movements and patterns of his kin to build an imperious knowledge of the strengths and weaknesses of how they fought. Through his expertise soon grew, he could not lift the spiked mace he had fashioned for himself with his scrawny arms, and so he continued to be the subject of intense ridicule from his clan. With much pain and trepidation, and the conviction that one day he would wield his weapon with pride, the young orc set out into the world to find his own path. Perhaps it was his diminutive stature, or his less than intimidating presence, but this particular orc was not feared in the way that many of his brethren were. Hey, thank you so much for the YouTube sub, Heavily on Arbiter Heart, I appreciate that. Able to move more freely amongst the various peoples of Teleria as a result, the soon-to-be warlord continued to grow his encyclopedic knowledge of combat strategy and techniques as he flitted from place to place. All that he needed was an opportunity to demonstrate the power of his wit and will, an opportunity the whims of fate duly provided while he was encamped in a swamp. It was an even and still day when the young orc heard the heath cry, a particular orcish song that signaled danger and calling for help. Racing through the environment which he had studied meticulously for the past month, he soon came to the source of the sound. Peering through the vines and thickets, he saw 3 orcs surrounded and outnumbered by bandits. Quickly realizing that alone he would not be able to help his kin in a frontal assault, he set his mind to devising a plan. He drew upon his knowledge of the swamp, remembered a place he could use to his advantage, and then stepped out in full view of the bandits and taunted them. Immediately, half the bandits set out after him, beginning a chase that was the first part of the devious orc's plan. Deftly navigating his way through the dense tendrils and mists, the young orc led his pursuers into a series of sinkholes, where they quickly drowned. In the chaos and confusion, his fellow orcs were able to overpower the remaining bandits. The young orc returned to his kin, who welcomed him with open arms and invited him to join their clan. He was filled with pride. It was clear to the other orcs of the would-be warlord's new clan that their savior was filled with extraordinary potential. He was finally able to train and grow with his people, and soon he had the name that would follow him for a lifetime. Victory followed victory for the clan after he joined them, as his expert knowledge allied with his people's strength built a formidable military power. With each triumph, his reputation grew, as talk spread of the commander who was always one step ahead of the enemy, who could predict their every move and manipulate them into going exactly where he wanted them to. The Warlord. It was a title many orcs had earned, but never before had it become so synonymous with one warrior. Over the years, Warlord's own strength grew too, as his body's prowess finally caught up with that of his potent mind. Though never the size of some of the largest and most imposing of his species, his skill with his enormous mace was not to be underestimated, and those who did so paid a heavy price. From a small, sickly child who brought shame to his people, to a legendary hero, and perhaps one of the greatest leaders the orc have ever seen, Warlord stands alone in proving that all people can defy the path that is seemingly set out for them. I hope you enjoyed the story for Warlord. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this story. Also, let me know of any other champs you would love to hear a lore story live for. And thanks for watching.